listening to Oilers Nation Radio, a member of the Nation network of podcasts and delivered by DoorDash. 1 hour straight hockey talk with Dan, Rick, Tyler, and Bag Milk starts now.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Oilers Nation Radio, episode 163. We are reporting live from the Nugent-Hopkins studio.
It's not bad.
Well, I mean, it's a placeholder. We can do better.
Probably.
We'll get better.
We could sell it as a sponsorship thing.
But for the interim,
Patience Studio.
I like that.
That's better.
I also, so last night they did a little feature on Infinite Patience, and then I made a stupid joke that they don't call Ryan Nugent-Hopkins horse because he runs fast. Seeing people connect what the joke meant in my mentions in real time, it was fun for me. But first, that has nothing to do with today. I mean, it could. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, good for you, buddy. Good for you. As we always do, we start off the podcast with a delicious debate from our friends at Oodle Noodle. And therefore, by the way, I'm just noticing you got a new arm on that there, Mike, on your
How cool is this,
table.
eh?
I like
Congratulations on your new arm.
And then when you go to like edit and you want it out of your way, you just...
See, when that's cool.
A nice
though,
visual medium for the listeners.
I bet they have that at radio stations. That's where he knows.
We do.
Did you steal it on the way out?
No, we got this is a brand new one. Look how smooth this is. It's so nice and greased up.
If we complain about it, though, a little bit, my request when we were setting up the podcast studio is I wanted those kind of arms, which is just like a springy arm since this is a podcast. I wanted them to come down from the roof.
Yeah, the only
dope.
problem is that then when you're shooting video, there's an arm in front of everyone's face.
Then we would have to get some lapel mics, or what are those called?
I hate lav mics suck. I can't stand those lav mics. They're the reason our first pregame show of the year didn't work well.
Or was that just a Tyler problem?
No, it was not a Tyler problem.
This segment brought to you by ABC Sound. Get
bet.
all of your needs on the Calgary Trail. The building isn't there anymore.
I used to buy CDs there. You could get 2 for $30.
There you go.
That was a good
ABC
deal.
Sound.
That place is fantastic.
It was.
You say, are you saying ABC?
I think, isn't that what
A
it
and
is?
B sound.
Oh,
A and B sound, yeah.
A and B sound.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Now we can get sued by whoever
All right.
owns that still.
No, that's a free plug for a building that no longer exists. So I guess the
No, the
building's
building's still there.
The building
Nothing
is there.
happens
Yeah,
inside of it.
It's not a. There's no more records playing.
Oilers Nation Radio, episode
Tyler's
163.
zoned out already.
R.I.P. A and B sound. Tyler,
Or
back
ABC Sound.
Tyler, back to the Oodle Noodle delicious debate, please, sir.
Yes. Oodle Noodle delicious debate of the week.
Delicious.
What's been the biggest...
Butter chicken.
What's been
Hot box.
the biggest positive from the first 4 games of the Oilers season?
Dan, I'm starting with you.
For me, it's been the goaltending. The goaltending was something that I think we expected to be a little bit of a sore spot this year. And through 4 games, small sample size for sure, but through 4 games, we've got pretty consistent goaltending from the 2 goalies. Mikko Koskinen specifically, who I was surprised to see do so well against Arizona last night.
Rick?
Can you word that question again for me?
The biggest positive from the Oilers 4-0 start.
I don't know how you don't look at it and go that somehow, some way, 97 and 29 have gotten better.
Yeah.
Look what they're doing right now.
Oh, it was Lars Caillou, former guest of the Oilers Nation Radio. He made a joke that Connor McDavid is going to win the most improved player this year, and I like that because how do you stop him?
You can't.
You can't. Like, look what they're doing right now. They have not played a good game yet.
They
A little bit
haven't.
sloppy.
They have not had their A game once.
No.
They've been a little bit sloppy.
And it's ridiculous what they're doing right now. I get how there's other good things on this team, but the fact that the best players in the world have somehow taken a step forward, I don't know how that's not the biggest.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Connor McDavid, 4 games played, 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points. So I think even Dan was the lofty one with his season predictions at 150 plus points. Even that made
He
just
was
look
135.
Yeah.
I'm 150.
Well, then
And
you may
that's-
be shy.
Yeah, you may be shy now. He's on a
And
pace for 164, I think.
Isn't that more than that?
He has more goals than the Montreal
Hang on.
Canadiens.
We need
period.
some Yaremchuk math here. We're going to work it
Yaremchuk.
out.
Well, I think
Math.
if you connect it to last year, maybe that's what it's at.
Yaremchuk math.
We're going to guess and check and try to figure it out live.
Yaremchuk
Day.
math. He's
11
got his-
points in 4 games divided by 82 times that. He's on pace for, I think, 225 points.
We're going to have Dan double check that. We're going to do some...
225 and a half.
How many games were there last season? 56?
56.
56.
And he had 105 last season.
Yep.
Yeah. But this year so far, he's on pace for 225.
That is
That's
correct,
insane.
yes.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Got it.
He's going to slow down eventually, maybe.
Maybe.
When he's 37?
Well, okay. So shout out to the schedule makers who gave us Calgary, Vancouver, Arizona, and then they spliced in a little bit of Anaheim just to make it nice to start.
I mean, to be fair, Vancouver and Calgary both have playoff aspirations.
Sure.
Well, yes.
Arizona's terrible.
Yeah,
Arizona
I guess
sucks.
I suppose.
Arizona's so bad. I've been making so much money betting against Arizona this year.
So here's the thing that, well, you know what? We'll finish the delicious debate first, and then we'll go into last night's game. Tyler, what's the biggest bright side for you so far?
I like Dan's point. I like Rick's point. I also like the point I'm going to make. The third line has been great. Like, this team desperately needed depth scoring for the last couple of seasons, and to see the way this this Fogle, Derek Ryan is who I wanted to say, and Zach Cassian line has been rolling has been awesome. Like, they're a perfect blend. I love the crash and bang and the speed of Fogle and Cassian. They both have decent hands. They can both score. And then Derek Ryan is just this guy. You don't even really notice him out there, but that's perfect. He's like a calming force next to two Tasmanian devils, and I think that's awesome.
And that's exactly what Ryan Pike told us he would be when they signed him. 10 to 12 minutes of non-event hockey. And I think that's great.
Yep.
Did Calgary wake up Cassian?
Maybe.
I think Cassian might have woken up himself.
Once Kissy Face came out, Kissy Face was like Crazy Eyes. It's the 2020 version.
Yeah, Kissy Face is the new 2017 Cassian.
2021, I guess, whatever year it is.
It's the new chops.
Yeah, it's the new chops.
But I would say with Cassian, you've seen a guy that the crowd, like we said it the entire lockdown hockey and bubble hockey. This guy needs people in the building to get jacked up.
And I hated that though, because I thought that was a lame excuse.
I did too.
So, I thought it was because again, he never really came out and like used it himself.
No.
But I didn't like people using it for him because it's like, man, there's other players. Like, no one gets a crowd. It's not like he's the only one. But I'll give him credit for the way he's come out and really shown some energy.
He's matched his goal total already from last year with 2.
Insane.
How about
and
that?
he needs one more point to match his points total from the last season.
How about that pass from Nuge on that one goal for Cassian though?
Perfect.
Unreal.
Sauce.
Butter.
Saucy.
Nuge is just growing an apple tree out there right now. I love it. We're going to get to him in a minute, though. Just to wrap things up, I'm going to say the biggest positive for me, just to not be repetitive, I'm going to say our boy Zach Hyman. You know, I think that for a lot of us, we had high hopes of him coming into the season, but to see him produce right away has been awesome. And last night, scoring a shorty, then he follows it up with a power play goal. This guy is going to get so many power play goals just parking himself in front of the net and waiting for Connor or Leon or Nuge or any combination of those guys to just set him up for a tap in. It's the best.
How realistic to think we're going to get a lot of shorthand goals this year now? Because if you look, they pay really nice with the sports books.
Did you see Darnell Nurse, I think, was a part of 2 or 3 odd man rushes on the PK last game?
I tweeted last night, Daryl's playing forward out there.
Yeah, but only on the penalty kill.
Well, but that's been something this team has had for a while with Tippett, especially. They're aggressive, but I don't think they've had the same horses that they do now on the PK, which is Hyman and Nuge, and then Ryan and who?
Yamo's been killing penalties.
Yamo's been killing a little bit.
So I mean, you got your speed right there already. And
this is scary. This is starting to turn into a scary team for other teams to play against.
And again, like, we have not seen their A game yet.
No.
Yes.
They have not played a game where I sat down at the end and went, whew, Oilers were the better team tonight. Like, against Arizona, they obviously were because Arizona sucks.
But the start was sloppy.
The start was
Yeah, they all
sloppy.
have been.
Calgary, they couldn't defend. Vancouver, they blew a lead late. And Anaheim, they couldn't keep pucks out of their net. Every game has not been great, but they're winning.
Yep.
And if they win tonight against Vegas, I get that it's early in the season, but you would have already built yourself up an 8-point cushion on the Golden Knights. I checked the sports books. Edmonton started the year at 5-1, plus 500 to win the division. They're already at plus 175.
Well, yeah, they shifted as soon as Mark Stone went down with an injury. It shifted a little bit, and then Pacioretty sunk them for sure in the books makers.
So I was writing the GDB for today at Oilersnation.com. The Golden Knights, like the Oilers, have a very good chance to win tonight.
Yeah,
I know Vegas didn't play last night, but still, the Golden Knights are going to be without Mark Stone, as Dan said, without Max Pacioretty, without Alex Tuck. Like, those are some big holes in the lineup.
Well, and what Vegas had as a strength previously was their depth, and the next guy up was equally as good for 4 lines deep, but they aren't that way anymore. They've got the misfits, and then it's just kind of existing.
We're still plus money to win right now.
Man, I'm so tempted
Straight
to just
up.
get super greedy and take the Oilers on the puck line, like plus 280. It's such a homer thing to do because, like, it's not a smart bet, but, like, again, if the Oilers had played 4 great games coming into this one, I'd honestly be sitting here being like, you know what? This might be a letdown
Scheduled
spot,
loss.
right? Scheduled loss. You played 4 great games, back-to-backs in Vegas. But you consider that, again, haven't seen their A game yet. They were a great road team last year. They were 7-3 in the second half of back-to-backs last year. Vegas is banged up. Vegas is playing bad. I'm like, man, they might actually win tonight.
By 2 goals, eh?
Can you like that? The payouts are so good.
Look at you
Juicy.
getting greedy.
I know.
Juicy.
If you could see Tyler's face right now, I don't know if he's ever been happier than when he's betting on sports.
That's juicy.
But admittedly, I had a very good night last night betting on the Oilers.
So did I.
McDavid over 2.5. We're going to have negative odds on that soon enough.
They're already not the greatest.
So
If
they've
you look at
already-
it comparing to last year's, they're already.
I got it at 350 last night.
They've like in the past, they would have McDavid to get 1 point, at least at like minus 300. They don't even have it up anymore.
When I looked yesterday, it was up on the book that I use, and he was minus 650 for 1 point. Like, there's no point in putting money on that.
Well,
Yeah.
unless you're putting an obscene amount of money on.
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
But we
Right.
use the same book, right? And like I'm looking at, he's not there anymore now. They pulled him off. So like you can go over 1.5, and it's minus 167. Like what? Again, the juice isn't even worth the squeeze at that point.
But if you're going to bet on him, though, to get over 2.5, should you not just sprinkle some on 1 and 1.5?
You could, because you're like hedging in a way. But like if you're gonna bet on him to go over 1.5 at minus 167, just go bet on him to score at minus 111.
Yes.
McDavid to score a hat trick tonight's only 19-1. Like,
This
that's
wasn't-
insane that's only 19-1.
This wasn't on my list of things to talk about, but based on how he's playing so far, the working on the one-timer, working on the shot, all of this, do you think there's a legitimate chance that Connor wins a Rocket Richard?
I think the Oilers will, and again, I'm changing from my prediction already, but I think for the first time since Lemieux and Yager, teammates will score 50 goals in the same season. How can you bet against that right now, the way they're going?
Well, but is this team? Do we think that this team is going to do what they've done so far, where they're going to
They have for
split
the
up
last two.
Draisaitl and McDavid for road games and have them together for home games?
I think so. I think it's smart, too. I think it's a really, really smart
Well,
play.
it's what they did in 2006. The Oilers team, when they played at home, played that run and gun, fire it all up and down the ice, and then when they were away, they would play the trap game.
coaching
So,
strategy.
You're
man.
trying to
it's
change up your strategy.
it's something out there that you can use. You better use it.
Let's walk through the last week since the last episode. So there's been 3 games we've talked about a little bit. Battle of Alberta last week. Nothing better than beating a Flames on a Saturday night.
Dude, did anyone else want to crawl through their TVs about 30 seconds into that game? I was losing my mind.
Why?
Because it got chippy early.
Yeah, they were feisty. So that brings up, okay, I'm going to bring up yesterday's real life conversation. Tyler and Jay got into a good argument yesterday on Real
We
Life.
were still arguing this morning about it.
Download and subscribe to hear this. I just got to sit back and enjoy these two yelling at each other mostly. Do you guys, Dan and Rick, I'll start with you because we've already had this chat, Tyler and I. Do you think the Oilers are tough enough right now?
Not really. That was one of my issues on that Saturday game. I would have liked to see. I don't know how you if we're going to bring in some more toughness, that person has to have the ability to back it up with some offense.
Functional toughness.
Yeah.
Which are not easy to find.
I don't think we really have a lot right now. If you wanted to come out and smack us around, it's doable.
Okay.
But you're also going to open up for power plays, and we can kill you that way. I'm a little bit worried about the bumps and bruises we can take, but in the long run, I think the team can persevere through it.
See, I'm of the mindset for today's NHL, the Oilers are fine. They have Zach Cassian who will go out there and
Calgary,
do it actively.
It felt like Calgary is pushing us around.
Yeah, but that's because they're a
Or
bad
taking
team.
runs at us
But that's
anyways.
because they're a bad team and they're
Who
losing.
are
They're
they
trying
like
to
really
get you off their
taking
game.
runs at, though?
Everybody after the whistles.
They were
we
just
don't
taking.
back
I would
it
say they're
up.
taking liberties.
Like,
more
I mean,
than
you look at and I never watched it again, but I didn't think Pugliarvi touched the goalie. I guess
didn't.
maybe his hand did. Like, I guess someone told me his hand did, stick missed, whatever it was.
That was Academy Award winning.
Anyways,
stuff.
he turns
Marshall.
around, and there's 4 Flames coming at him.
So-
and there's nobody really to back him up for him.
So if
And they
we're
didn't
worried
get a penalty
about,
out of it?
if we're worried about team toughness, what team is going to push us around that we have to worry about still being able to beat?
Calgary. I mean, everybody.
But we beat them. They tried to get us off our game and we beat them. Look what Arizona did last night and Vancouver the night before, or Anaheim the night before. Did Anaheim take 6 power plays against them in that game?
Yeah.
Those are
and
different
we
penalties.
victimized them.
Those are different penalties.
But that's stuff that where you're taking a liberty, and that's where you have to just kind of what we have to start doing as fans is do exactly what you do, Rick. Hold the referees accountable and start drawing those penalties when we're at home.
Terrible.
Before you guys move on, Dan, please, your stat that you posted this morning on Twitter, I thought was very interesting and just gross.
May the 8th, 2021 was the last time Connor McDavid drew a penalty.
Which was?
Which was
How many
11 games
games,
ago.
though?
11 games, 4 playoff games. 11 games ago. McDavid has been given 2 penalties since he drew his last penalty as well. And so while I don't think it's the most outrageous thing when I looked at the actual minutes, like he's only played 240 minutes of hockey since then, but at the same time, this league pretends, at least outwardly, to say that they're going to protect everybody and they're going to protect their best players, and they just don't do that right now. That being said, I do predict two power plays from McDavid.
I'll
tonight.
give the refs credit for one thing: that double penalty.
They usually never do that.
But they didn't call the second one.
Well, that's why
there was a double penalty later on in that game, and they didn't have the
What were
balls
they
to call
tell
that
Corey?
What's that?
What would they tell Corey?
I want to go back to the team toughness angle, though, because this was, again, got me fired up with Jay. My take on it is, like, let's even take the Anderson on Yamamoto play. They always get a power play out of that. They score. If whoever it is, Darnell Nurse, Duncan Keith, jumps in.
I agree with this part.
Right?
I understand what you mean.
If you jump in and grab them and you negate the power play, like, to me, the team toughness is, maybe it's a concern that guys weren't jumping into scrums and all that, and maybe they aren't tough enough, all that. But I would just prefer to have a team that sits there and goes, yep, go ahead. 4 guys on Puljujarvi, sure, he can hold his own there because he's fucking huge. We're going to take the power play, and instead of punching you back, Draisaitl's going to give you a little wink after they score on the power play and he's doing his flyby, right? Like, I'd rather have a team that does that, and I'd rather beat teams on the scoreboard. And I get it.
I just like
there's a mental edge to it.
The not reactionary toughness.
Yeah,
like
and
the
that's
reactionary
fair.
toughness, I get it. We've done that for years. It's killed our power plays many a time, and it's frustrating. But there's got to be a point where you just can't get pushed around.
But you have that with Cassian, and you have that with Darnell Nurse to a certain extent.
But Nurse can't be involved in that stuff anymore. He's way too valuable. When you have issues in the first, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, you're going to square up in the second. I don't want to see Nurse doing it.
Well, they shouldn't have to.
But it's hockey. It happens. You're gonna fight.
I
You're gonna
guess.
fight.
Like, I think in the old NHL it did, but I think in
still
this
does.
NHL you just need reactionary toughness,
And like,
that's what you need.
So what? Do you want to see like Colton Sevier get into the lineup more instead of Brendan Perlini?
Maybe, but probably something like that. Maybe a little bit of size, a little bit of pushback, a little bit of go out there and hit first rather than be hit.
I would agree. Like the fourth line left wing spot is probably an area where like if you injected
What's
something
the
different in
turnstile
there,
now for sure. You can place anybody.
Perlini's not.
How
The preseason was a.
dare you?
Okay, it's 4 games.
I know, but like,
Fucking
That was
Lamborghini
also
Perlini was shooting
That
the
was
lights
also
out.
4 games though.
yeah,
His mom tweets at me. I love them.
Now Tyler's dragging him.
I'm not dragging him. I'm just saying, like, if
but-
there's one spot you could swap in more quote unquote
That's-
toughness, that could be it. But like,
That's
still,
the issue.
The thing I would just like is, and I think you can cultivate it with the current roster, is the 3 Musketeers kind of all for one. You know, This is Jay getting left out of a cab in Winnipeg, so we all jump out of the cab.
We're all for one.
So I just like to see if Puljujarvi is getting pushed around or whatever, that even if nothing happens, just everybody in the pile.
yeah.
But yeah, you don't come in as the wing. You come in and you grab a guy by the arms, and you're
Yes.
like, you're not getting involved in
Give the
this.
old
And you
stinky face.
But see, I like this new Connor where he is able to massage those referees in such a way, like they listen to him.
Yes.
They that line. When in the past have you ever seen a linesman sit there and talk to one of the centers for like 30 seconds?
He's probably
after a
asking
play?
for his autograph.
Well,
That's what I
maybe.
would do.
But like, so there's a certain aspect to me where it's just in this new NHL, you just don't need those guys that are going to take up those meaningful minutes.
But I
from other
don't
people.
mean like the prototypical fighters.
Yeah, I get what you're
I
saying.
mean, and I know this is probably the best of
Like
of
Steve
their-
McIntyre's not getting on the
No,
line.
100%.
No, and I'm going to
But
use
Zach Cassian
the name
too.
of the guy from the top of their pile, but like Tom Wilson.
And that's
And I don't mean
that's
Tom
the
Wilson,
issue.
but a guy
He's
who's
almost
got,
like a-
who can do everything.
But it's not
That's
quite
such
Revo,
because Revo
if
doesn't
that was a
have the
dime a
offense, but-
dozen guy, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
he's a
but he's
unicorn.
a 10 out of 10. What's the 5 out of 10 Tom Wilson?
Warren Fogle. I don't know, like,
And
or Col-
that's what I think it is too. I think
like
it's
it's
guys,
just-
and that's why I was kind of arguing with Jay because I'm like, Hyman forechecks hard and he'll hit you. Fogle forechecks hard and he'll hit you through the end boards. Cassian will hit you hard. Maybe their fourth line lacks a bit of that bite, but to say that it's like a big problem with the roster, I just don't agree with because it's there.
Yeah.
It's not like they have 4 soft lines. I don't think every line needs to have a guy who's going to get in your face and be a pest. Like it's just fine for me. And when they're 4-0, I just felt like that was a bit like I'm complaining about the defense and their inability to prevent shots and all that, but like the toughness is just something that like
And I
know.
guarantee that Jay and I are exactly the same.
It's-
He was
it's
losing
basically-
his mind in the first couple of minutes
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
Flames game too, because he wanted to get onto that ice and grab a hold of Rasmus Anderson. I wanted to get a hold of the ice and get a hold of Rasmus Anderson. Someone's got to get a hold of fucking Rasmus Anderson and deal with this shit. And it doesn't, but if we're going to turn them into goals all the time,
That's the thing.
it's going to change things a bit.
The
But
Battle of Alberta is going to be different for a little while, I think.
But
Yeah,
if we
I
ever
just
see
think
that
that-
one injury, that's going to really upset us.
The battle is going to be Calgary's going to be trying to score goals, and we're going to be seeing how high we can go in the score totals.
Calgary, who?
No better way to transition into shout out for our friends at DoorDash. Ding dong.
Ding dong.
Tyler's hungry. He wants you to have something to eat too. Therefore, download DoorDash on your phone. And if you've never used it before, use ON Radio DD as a promo code to get you 25% off your first order and free delivery. Sound good? I've got a better one for you. Oodle 2021. Use that. Get $7 off your order of $30 or more from our friends at Oodle Noodle.
Delicious, delicious, delicious.
The delicious debate just happened. There you go. All right, we're going to move it along a little bit. I want to talk about last night's game specifically against the Coyotes. We mentioned Warren Fogle. He made a hell of an introduction for himself to Oilers fans last night. That goal he scored with the little inside-outside move shoot while he was falling, that was an absolute stud goal that we have not had from a third liner on this team in forever. Dan, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, for all three of the newer guys, Ryan, Fogle, and Hyman, somebody got the message to them that if you work your ass off, this city and this team will love you forever. And so for me, yeah, it's been for all three of those guys. But yeah, last night, especially with Fogle, that hard working effort paying off and getting you a goal. Like, I think he would have got a little bit of love if that shift had just, that puck had just gone next to the net kind of thing. I think still Oiler fans would have appreciated it. But the fact it went back in the net is even better.
You know who it looked like? This is going to go way back for some of us. And he did it. It was a bit of the same move, a little bit different because this other player used to go, his arm would go up and over the player. But it looked like Kelly Buchberger.
Oh, man.
Buchberger used to take it inside out and his arm would go up and over top of you. I know this guy's a
I'll
little
have
bit
to watch
better
the tape.
offensively then,
I'll
but
have to watch the tape.
yeah, that was a Bucky move.
Also a nice surprise of how handsome is Warren Fogle.
You see him with his glasses on
Well,
coming off the plane?
Shout out to Kennedy, our videographer, who
Kennedy's the best.
who tweeted out Warren Fogle is if you take Connor McDavid and you mash him together with who? Who was the other one? I just lost
Oscar
it.
Klefbom.
Oscar Klefbom. And I can't unsee it now. It'll haunt me until the end of time.
If you're listening to this right now, do yourself a favor and follow Kennedy's Trash
100%.
Kennedy's
or
trash.
Kennedy Strash, whichever way you look at it on Twitter. She's hilarious. So that's Kennedy. She makes our videos at Oilers Nation. She also does graphic design. Chances are you're wearing one of the t-shirts she made right now.
He
As you're
does.
listening
He
to
does look like exactly like that. Eh?
Yeah.
Also, can we just shout out his Twitter and Instagram handles being FogDaddy96? So
good.
What a fucking beauty.
But you know what else is great about him scoring last night is instantly on Twitter. Boom. The McLovin GIFs were just coming out, flooding timelines last night.
that won't get old.
Oilers fans are the best. I can't wait to just start making some custom McLovin GIFs for him as his, what did he sign for, 3 years?
3 years.
Can't wait. Another guy I want to touch on from last night's game. Again, he's my bright side from the first part of the season. Zach Hyman, 2 goals and an assist so far. So 3 points in 4 games. Rick, what do you think about our newest friend, Zach Hyman? First of all, post-game with Scott Oak on Saturday. Just an absolute gem, this guy. Secondly, the way he plays, fantastic. Relentless on the forecheck. His puck pursuit is ridiculous. Rick, what are your thoughts on Zach Hyman?
He's living up to everything that I think we've heard Leaf fans tell us about him, right? Are you going to get what you get out of the media? And we've listened to those people for decades, and players have come in and either, sometimes have been right, sometimes. But you look at the other team's fan base and see their reaction to losing a player.
Yeah.
This was a guy that they said we were going to like, even though they don't like us, they don't want us to have him. And I think he's fulfilling everything they were kind of telling us so far.
Tyler?
Yeah, same thing. Like the power play. I mean, that's where it's making a big
does
impact for
everything.
me. Like, he kills penalties. He's on the power play. He forechecks hard. He's a great top 6 winger.
He and Nuge seem to have a little something going.
Yeah, they do, and all of it. Like, he's impactful. He changes the game. He's not just there to score a goal every 6-7 games and give you solid minutes or anything. Like, game in, game out, he'll make an impact, and it's awesome. Like, I want to relay this into a power play conversation. You take replacement level Alex Chason.
How dare you?
And you flip him into this Zach Hyman in
Canucks
front of
can't
the
even
net.
spell his name right.
Exactly.
Disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
It's unreal, man.
He wore the answer.
Cha is on.
Exactly. Go back to the power play.
Did they
Tyler.
screw up Gagne's name once too?
Probably. It's hard to spell in Vancouver.
Oh, yeah, they did. Then they do Ganger.
Yeah, I think they did.
Trash organization.
Yeah, trash organization.
Yeah.
Quads, you listen to this? You cover a trash organization. Anyway, back to the power play, Tyler.
That beef and cheddar.
Remember when I said they might be 40% or better, and you all laughed and laughed and laughed, and you said, "Tyler, you fool! That Kool-Aid's too sweet." And I said, "You wait and see." Actually, I didn't. I got chicken, and I backed down and said, "Okay, maybe 30% or better." But the initial 40% or better might not be that far off. They're legit. They honestly might finish the year 40% or better.
Terrifying.
Well, yeah, and for me, it's when you're as a power play. There's a certain flow that the penalty kill has, and it always just seems to be with this team. It's that one extra pass, and the rest of the other team is just not there for it. And they've had like multiple opportunities of that over the years, where McDavid and Draisaitl will find those spots for Chiasson, for Cassian to bang in, and they can't. They hit Hyman now, and it's in the back of the net. So like, yeah, I don't know. This I'm with Tyler. Like, I think that this is going to go down, since we started tracking power play stats, as one of the best power plays of all time.
I think it will be the best. Like, they don't have to be.
Three guys take like the majority of it, right?
Yep.
Then you circle out after about 40 seconds. Hyman comes off, Puljujärvi goes out. I think Barry comes off, Nurse goes out, and those other three guys, they can skate for days.
And it's
It's terrifying. I don't know what you do to stop this.
And
it's only a matter of time also before Dad gets sneaks in there also.
Yep.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that the other thing is they're now more confident in that second unit. And so that second unit is going to spell
That's the
in.
third unit
and
now, though.
sometimes
Yeah,
you start
pretty
to
much.
get, well, yeah, and sometimes you start to get those power plays that stack up.
You mean when they
And
start
all
the
of a
power
sudden-
play like the other day?
exactly. And then all of a sudden, McDavid and Draisaitl are rested, and they've got you tired on your power play.
Can I just say, when Hyman scored that power play goal that he jammed in, I just had flashbacks to all the times where McDavid or Draisaitl would seam one to chase on,
And he just duffed it.
or like his stick would fucking break, and you're like, "What the hell, man? You have one. Go out there with the old aluminum stick if you need to chase on." Like,
It's
grab
funny though
Strudwick's
because
shovel.
they almost, Hyman and Chiasson almost do the same down to one knee, finish the tap in type thing. But it's like Tyler said, all of a sudden Chiasson would find a way to get it into the crowd somehow.
Although I do want to give a shout out to Chiasson in the season opener. There was a point in like the first period where he made a move at the blue line and then got a shot on net, and I was like, "Fuck, he might be entering dangerous mode." Like I was waiting because I wanted to send out a tweet after he dropped like to one knee on a one time.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, "Fuck,
He
vintage
does that
Chiasson
though.
revenge game."
He'll go through like 5-6 games where he's like
absolute
phenomenal.
He's feeling it.
And like 10 days before that is when he'll start breaking his stick, hitting posts.
Yep.
Yeah.
The puck just somehow won't go in. And that's when you start betting on him because he's going to pay off for about a week.
So again, I was talking to Quads yesterday, David Quadrelli from Canucks Army, and he was just like, "How did this work with Alex Chiasson on the power play with the Oilers?" I'm like, he did a good job of just finding where the big boys needed him to be, and he found a way. But then I also told him, I'm like, "But what you need to know about Chiasson, the streaks." The streaks are wild with this dude, because he will go on like a 5-6 game heater where everything's going in the net, and then you won't see him for months.
like
Did Chiasson win a Stanley Cup with Washington?
Yes.
Yeah,
Why is the only thing that anybody ever talks about when he played with us?
Because we're awesome.
Like, it's so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
He's like, with former Edmonton Oiler. No, he's a Stanley Cup champion.
It's the most recent.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's also taken
PTOs.
3 PTOs
Yeah.
and made the team each time.
It's true.
That one year, like coming out of the PTO, he scored like 22 goals for us. That was insane. We definitely did not even really talk about that enough.
No.
But like it was wild. And yeah, like kind of shit on him a bit, or I shit on him a little bit there with the replacement level thing. But it's just you can tell he's a smart player,
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah.
Like he knows where to go. Sometimes
if
his
you had-
skill lets him down, but like he genuinely knows like where to
knows what
be
he's doing
to be
out there.
to be in a good spot.
Like, I wouldn't be upset. Like, I know he's in Vancouver and I'm happy for him or whatever. But I
Tampering.
wouldn't
It's
be
good.
upset if he was on our fourth line in Kyle Turris' spot.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean?
In that 12, 13, 14 forward
Yeah,
spot.
he's a good vet.
Getting back to the Oilers, though, we talked about Connor McDavid a little bit earlier. 11 points in 4 games. Leon, the old slouch, with 8 points in 4 games. But I got to talk about Rick's boy here.
Let's go.
Jesse Puljujärvi, 7 points in 4 games, 2 goals and 5 assists. The big boy is rolling right now. And he's having a great time doing it, too. It's just, what is that contract going to look like?
Woo!
Sign it right
6
now.
by 6.
Can you get him for an 8 by?
8
That would
by
take him to
6, that might
30.
be rich.
8 by 5 in a bit.
8 by 5.5. I do 8 by 5.5.
Right.
I think you
now.
sign that right now.
Right now.
What do you guys think it takes to get Chase on back here at the deadline?
Tyler is
Title probably.
I'm just kidding.
As Bag Milk was saying it, I was like, well, you know what? The trade deadline.
Anyways, 8 by 5.5 for Puljujärvi. Like
Right now.
You do it.
you do
If
it.
you could, yeah. But I don't know if his camp is going to.
Why wouldn't he?
Oh yeah,
Is he happy to be here?
Yes, he just loves to play, man. That's all he wants to do.
And I
He
think now
loves
his
to
spot's
play. He's
different.
winning.
I think the group's embraced him too.
Yeah, I saw that
embraced
interview
him.
with him and Leon on the desk,
Yeah.
and they're all chanting, and Leon just literally all Leon could do was sit there
brothered
and
him.
pump his tires a bit, right?
Big brothered him a little bit.
Dude, can you believe
so.
what's going on right now?
And also, like,
Smile.
this isn't the time when Puljujärvi was up and down to Bakersfield, not in the lineup, maybe playing on the fourth line. He's parked next to McDavid.
He's first line. He's on the first page of the points.
So let's keep walking through it. Again, the depth scoring that we're seeing so far through 4 games is what I'm most interested about in this conversation. So Puljujärvi, there's 7. Nugent Hopkins, he's grown an apple tree. He's got 6 assists already. He had 3 last night, 2 against Arizona. Zach Hyman's got 3 goals. Cassian, like I said, he's already got 4. Warren Fogle's got 3 points. Bouchard's got 3.
And we haven't had a good game yet.
Well, and what I was going to say too, when it comes to the depth scoring, is we haven't had the defensive scoring that we've had in the past year.
Let's have a look at it. So we got Daryl. Daryl's leading so far. Or no,
Bush had
Evan
that
Bouchard.
one. He had that
Yeah,
one.
Bush had
That
that
one
one goal,
bomb from the corner that went in.
That's
the net.
true.
Bush's bomb is so, man.
Dude, I don't know
gonna
why
kill
he pushed the
somebody.
goalie's face.
He's going to kill somebody with that thing.
Oh, when he wired that
It
one.
went right. So they kept talking to, like, it went hit him in the neck or something. It hit him square in the wires. And
That's
he was
still
holding his
Arzetta's.
nose, man. Like that. I thought he like dented the. They let him. I didn't see one player or nobody look at his fucking his cage and see if it was okay. Like I think that thing was cracked
We had
or
a little
something.
bit of structural damage on that one.
Bouchard's demeanor after everything is just so calm and cool too. Like it
His
just
heartbeat is
looks
always
so casual. Yeah,
He's basically dead.
yeah. Like most fathers.
Tyler likes my one-liner today.
I
a
was
good
going to say
add-on
it
by
kind of
Dan
looks like it
Owens.
almost takes him an extra 10 seconds to like, all right, maybe he's thorough almost. Like there's a scrum in front of the net and he sits there and goes, now, Evan, don't overreact. Let's think back. Who started this? You know what? This could have been our fault. And then like the scrum's happening around him and he's like, yeah, you know what? We might be in the wrong here.
Have you guys been talking to Jay out there? What's this? Has he changed his tone yet?
A little.
Has anyone
A
bugged
little
him
bit.
about this yet? Like,
Oh, of course. It's going to be a never. So if you're listening to this now and you're new to the podcast, the thing about Jay is, what was that, 2 years ago now? 3
Yeah,
years
he
ago?
wanted him out.
He was talking about trading Bouchard because he doesn't have
3
the
years
fire.
ago. It was like 3 months ago.
Jay is ageist.
Well, it's been a consistent.
He has brought this up in no less than 3 months ago.
So if you're on Twitter or Instagram, look at the Squire. Yeg on those 2 social platforms and
Every
hit him
time.
up. Anytime Evan Bouchard does something, say, there's the fire. If we could get that going on Jay's
Hashtag
socials,
there's the fire.
there's the fire.
You know what else is nice to see? Like in the past few years, right? Like Ethan Bear wasn't really loved by Dave Tippett. He was always reluctant to keep Caleb Jones in the lineup. And it was kind of one of those things where Tippett was getting the reputation of a guy who just always goes
Wanted
towards the vet.
veterans.
He wants the vet. Vets get the benefit of the doubt. And it was nice to see against Anaheim, Barry was struggling, and Tippett just went, fuck it, Boosh, go. You're having a game. And he played him, and he played him, and he played him, and he played him. And it's nice to see that Tippett
great.
kind of has like, he's recognizing that. He clearly has Tip's trust.
But
He's
also
not- he's
Bouchard
not-
looks like a veteran, so maybe
Okay,
he's
yeah, I
just
was gonna say he's not
confused.
putting him there
Looks
because
down the
Barry's
bench. He's
just
like, "Hey, old man, go."
Tippett's like, didn't we play together in Harvard? Get the fuck out there. Bouchard, he's the best. Okay, let's. I got to
just
talk about
imagining-
corners.
I'm imagining them in Vegas, like all the players hang
Yes.
out, and it's like Bouchard and Jim Playfair, like going for a walk.
Yeah, they go for a walk and then
Khaki
they're up
shorts with
they're,
socks pulled up, their
Yeah.
mid shin.
They're at breakfast at 6:30 a.m. A little bit of gym time before the pregame skate. All right. Thanks to our friends at Cornerstone Insurance for helping make this all possible. If you go to cornerstoneins.ca, cornerstoneins.ca, you will have a little button there on the left-hand side of the screen. It says Citizens of the Nation. You click that, and you get a discount on your auto, residential, commercial, life insurance, whatever you need. They got it for you. Cornerstone Insurance. One more time, the website, Tyler?
Cornerstone Insurance.
cornerstoneins.ca. Thank you for listening.
INS.
All right, let's preview the game against Vegas.
Okay.
Tonight, Friday, October 22nd, the Oilers play Vegas for the first time. A lot of people, I think, kind of already assume that the Oilers or Vegas is going to finish 1-2 in the division. Vegas is 1-2 on the season so far. They're beat up a little bit.
A
Tyler?
lot bit.
A lot bit. Tyler, break down a game like this. Like, obviously, this is a team we have to beat when you get an opportunity like this. But how much does a game like this mean early in the season against a team that you're probably going to be battling for the division for 5 months from now?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say it's like a measuring stick game and use that cliche, because this isn't the Vegas that we're probably going to see later in the season down the stretch. No Stone, no Pacioretty, no Tuck, no Martinez. But at the same time, you touched on it earlier as well, Dan. This isn't sort of the next man up Vegas we've seen before. The cap has taken its toll on this group. Their center depth, I said this in our season preview.
You did.
Their center depth is bad. Like, after William Karlsson, Nolan Patrick is not an impact NHLer. Maybe one day he will be, former first overall pick and all that, as we've seen with Puljujarvi. It takes guys some time. So sometimes it takes guys some time. And I just... but, like...
I get what you're saying.
Chandler Stevenson, man. This guy gets regular top 6 minutes. He's not a top 6 centerman.
Tyler's talking about the depth down the middle for Vegas. So we got Karlsson, Stevenson, Patrick, Howden. That wraps up the centers. Go ahead, Tyler.
Not great. And the depth on the wings right now doesn't look good.
You're a big Krebs guy.
I actually am a big Krebs guy. But again...
Choke me, Dad, enough.
There's a button coming. There it is.
I just stopped Tyler dead in his tracks.
You never heard that before, Tyler?
That was well done.
Good for you.
He hit a tree.
All right, well, Tyler's
Stop.
got to restart and reboot.
He's going to reboot the old software on that one.
Anyways, yeah, I don't like Brossoit as a backup for the amount they paid him. They don't have the same good goaltending tandem they did last year. It's just, it's not as good of a team as they were last year. So I look at this, and if the Oilers can win tonight and get that 8-point cushion like I referenced earlier, it puts you in a really, really nice spot.
And one thing to note, just again, looking at the GDB I wrote, OilersNation.com, the Golden Knights have basically given up twice as many goals as they've scored. Mm-hmm. In 3 games, they've given up 12, whereas the Oilers have given up 10. And we're saying that as the Oilers team who, against Anaheim, they were sloppy.
And,
they gave up a lot of goals.
And if you go look at the way Vegas has their season's kind of gone here, like they have a -5 goal differential. They've scored 7 and they've allowed 12. But if you take out that first period of the year when they kind of caught the Kraken sleeping, or not sleeping, the Kraken were almost like overexcited for their first game and they played really sloppy in the first period.
Sounds like an excuse to me.
And the Golden Knights scored twice. Like, you take out that first period, they're what, a -7 through 3 games? That's brutal.
The interesting thing also is these two teams right now, the Oilers and the Golden Knights, are giving up a ton of shots every night. So the Oilers are giving up 37.3 on average so far. The Golden Knights are giving up 38.4. So if you're looking at a shot prop tonight,
yeah,
it might be worth it.
Vegas is dead last in the NHL in shots against per 60 at even strength. Oilers are third last. So I think there's a chance we see a lot of offense tonight as well.
I think there's a chance that I'm going to excite you, Tyler, with another round of Ask the Idiots brought to you by Buster's Pizza. Woo! 11 locations around the city, busterspizza.ca.
And how can people get rich? By sending us in questions.
That's
and
right.
Potentially winning a gift card.
I was very confused what you're going with. I would like to get rich, but the winner...
Invest in Bitcoin.
Yes, invest in Bitcoin.
Invest in Buster Pizza coin.
Invest in Buster's Pizza because it's delicious and it'll feed the temple. All right, so last week on the podcast, we said submit questions like Tyler said using the Ask the Idiots hashtag. You listeners, I love you, but you didn't listen to me. You didn't listen to me. And you know what happened? Surveyor Brett now won a $50 gift card for Buster's Pizza because he understood the assignment.
And he's probably going to share with all the other refs in the league. So this is on everybody for allowing the refs, for everything they've done so far, to get a pizza party out of this.
So Surveyor Brett, fire me a DM over and above the ones that you already send me on a daily basis.
Yes.
Send me a DM and I'll get you hooked up with that gift card from Buster's Pizza. So thank you for submitting a question to Ask the Idiots. I've mixed his question in, but I won't tell you where.
Okay.
Dan, stop cheating.
I'm not.
Dan's trying to cheat.
Promise.
Dan doesn't understand the assignment.
I'm an idiot.
All right, I'm going to start with Dan. For Buster's Pizza, this is Ask the Idiots. Your first thought when you saw Warren Fogle's goal last night against the Coyotes?
Wow. What about my second and third thought? My first thought was exciting. That kind of effort is exactly what Edmonton's been hoping for from a new acquisition like Warren.
Rick, first thoughts on Warren Fogle's goal?
The troll in me, the first thing I thought was, I've never seen Bear do that before.
I saw that tweet a couple of times, to be honest.
Other than that, if that's what our third line's going to do, we're in for a really good year.
Tyler?
Yeah, the first thing out of my mouth was, oh, shit. And the second thing out of my mouth was, that was sick.
And just to wrap it up, I thought I was going to rip a hole clean through me trousers. Question number 2. If you had to start your own beat cast, what food would you have chosen? What would your cast be, Tyler?
I don't like cabbage.
So cabbage cast.
Like eat a whole head of cabbage.
You would get your
cabbage
fiber
rolls.
in on that one.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I'm not a big cabbage guy, so I'd say cabbage.
Rick,
Cabbage.
Rick, if you're doing a beat cast, what do you dislike eating after losses?
I don't even like walking past this part of the grocery store, but olives. Like they have the big olive set up and all the different ones. Like yeah, that would be. And honestly, you can, at that many type of olives that cover all the losses in the year, that'd be terrible.
Dan?
We talked about this when we first did this sacrifice
Sacrifice for 500.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I would have gone with chickpeas because like
Ooh, I like chickpeas.
eating just plain chickpeas is one of the
Oh, yeah,
most
plain?
like it's just there's nothing to those things.
Yeah.
They are explosive and they taste like sand.
You would have gotten your fiber, though, and
I
some
would've.
protein at the same time. So there you go. Surveyor Brett, there's your answer. You already know what my answer is. I started the beat cast. I hate beets.
Ice
That's
cream.
what I do. That's what I do. I ate way too much ice cream the other day.
Nice.
I was just, sometimes when you find the bottle of your bowl and then you refill,
Just keep
and then all of a
going.
sudden the tub's gone, and you're like, whoa.
Whoa, you don't eat out of the tub?
Well, let's try to be classy, Dan.
That's
Look
fair.
at you.
All right,
You have a dishwasher in your house?
King of the castle. King of the castle.
I have the dishwasher.
All right. Question number 3. Ask the idiots for Buster's Pizza. Outside of Connor McDavid, who has had, it doesn't have to be points. It doesn't have to be anything specific. Who's had the most impressive start to the season? Tyler.
Yes, a Puljujärvi. I think he's really taken another step forward from last season. And he's continuing to prove the doubters wrong. This guy, I've said this line before, he went from an afterthought to a top 6 winger to a key part of this team. So it's great to see. JP.
Rick, I'm guessing Tyler just stole your answer.
I was going to try and get away from that because I don't always want to give that answer, but I think just as well, but on the back end is Papa Bush. I mean, there's not much I have to do to explain that answer. Everyone's seen him out there. You look at his minutes, look what he's doing when he has the puck, without the puck. Probably more than anyone expected out of him this year so far.
Dan.
For me, I'm going to go back to the same answer I did for the delicious one. I'm going to say Mike Smith and I guess Mikko Koskinen as a side note. But yeah, for those two guys, for me, they were my biggest question mark going into the season, and they have not given me any fear so far.
I'm going to stay on brand. I'm going to say Ryan Nugent-Hopkins because guess who's gotten a couple of 5-on-5 points already? And everybody says you can't go on 5-on-5. Thank you. For Buster's Pizza, we are working through Ask the Idiots. Dan, I'm starting with you on this one because of your last answer. Does Ken Holland need to find another goalie for some insurance? Mike Smith, hurt, a little banged up. Going to be out a week or so, according to handsome Tom Gazzola.
As insurance, no. But I think the next 2 weeks shows what this team has when it comes to their goaltending. So he'll know now going forward what the answer will be.
Trevor.
I think
He answered to that.
I know. See, and this is
I was
where,
looking for Trevor in the room.
this is where the debate comes in. If the Oilers get to the deadline and they're in a position where it makes sense to spend the first round pick and load up, it's likely because Smith and Koskinen have been above average. So do you sit there at the deadline and go, okay, well, our goaltending's been above average. Do we go get a goalie or do you go get a defenseman? And I'm starting to think that the biggest need this team has, this is actually what sparked the big debate with Jay and I, they need a defenseman, man.
Which spot?
Left D. You need a left defenseman that you can put on a pairing with Bouchard, and by the stretch drive and into the playoffs, Bouchard and this new ad will be your second pairing, and Keith and Ceci get sheltered minutes on the third
You'd really
pair.
bring in a lefty before righty?
Who are you taking out of the lineup on the right side?
I'd be more worried about Ceci than I am Keith.
See, but there's nowhere to play. There's no roster spot for the righty because you have Barry, Bouchard, and Ceci. On the left side, you can take out.
If I'm bringing in a better player, okay, I see you're going to take out Slater, Cuckoo, or Russell, and then you know what? I still think that second line is going to get more minutes. I'd still like to see a higher quality number 2 right defense, and then
if you can get someone to take,
and then CC drop into 7, I guess. I get cap wise, that's stupid. I get it.
If you can get someone to take Ceci in a deal, then sure. But if you're just straight up
we're
adding,
trading Cody Ceci,
and I haven't even minded his game at all. But like Keith and Ceci would be a really, really good third pairing when you could pick their matchups a little bit better. Go out. You guys ready for this?
Yep.
Hypothetical trade.
Ricard Raquel. Now he plays defense.
Alex Pietrangelo.
Your first round pick and Kyler Yamamoto for Josh Manson and Ricard Raquel.
Were you honestly going to say Ricard Raquel?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's the hypothetical trade I've been throwing around in my head. Or the other one I've been thinking of
like
is
4 games in.
The other one I'm thinking of is the first round pick and Mikko Koskinen, and maybe you need to throw in a fringe prospect for Tristan Jarry and Brian Dumoulin.
Tristan Jarry did not have a good year last year.
No, he started off really well this year, though, I think.
Yep.
Tyler's out here making trades.
You know what? I love that you are already on the trade train 4 games in, 4-0.
I'm always thinking of armchair GM things.
Yeah,
That's
good.
why Tyler will be our de facto GM here at Nation HQ, just outside of the Ryan Nugent Hopkins studio. Thank you. I guess this fits perfectly. Tyler, I'm starting with you. Ask the Idiots for Buster's Pizza. 1-word review on the Keith Ceci pairing.
Meh.
Rick?
Above average. I know that's 2 words, but I don't care.
Steady.
And I'm just going to say, okay.
I'm just thinking of that comment card, and I think they're a little bit better than 500. So whatever the next one is, I think is above average.
I think when I say okay, by the way, I don't say that.
That's
as
not a bad
slight.
thing.
I don't say that as a slight.
They don't really stand out negatively. They haven't really done anything huge positively. So we're still sitting in this little neutral game. And if they stay there, you're probably going to want a little bit more out of them. But you're happy that you're not getting the negative side out of it.
I think I'm perfectly happy with what they've given us.
I'd like to see a little bit more something out of Keith. Something.
I think when he's, I feel like when he's on the ice, the team plays.
I agree.
Better.
I agree. I do. I like the veteran things he does. The way he can use a stick to knock pucks off. What he's brought in, too. I was really excited about. But there's still something I want to see. I don't know what it is, but when I see it, I'll know it.
You're just a hater.
I think actually Duncan Keith to me has been fine.
Yes.
If you take away the price tag and you know what it is, he's been fine. Cody Ceci is more of an adventure to me.
Yep.
But he's I don't think he's been bad yet.
He's just sometimes you go, whoa.
I'm still terrified
of
about
the two. I'm concerned of CC.
I'm still terrified about the 4-year contract.
I get those whoops moments with both of them. Like against Vancouver, there was that point where Horvat got the breakaway, and Keith looked like he was trying to skate in slush. He was like, "Ooh, the feet were moving, and he just wasn't going very fast." It's a little concerning. It's not a huge issue. I'm sure they'll be fine.
He brought up that point last week too about Keith.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think he's just sitting on one thing.
Tyler Yaremchuk,
You're just a hater.
All right, last question. Ask the Idiots for Buster's Pizza. Buster'sPizza.ca. Get yourself something to eat this weekend. I'm going to start with Tyler. Can Zach Hyman work his way onto the Team Canada roster? Yes or no?
Nah, there's too many good options, man. We're talking about a guy named Steven Stamkos potentially on the bubble for that team. Yeah,
what has he ever done?
Exactly.
Sean Couturier is on the bubble. John Tavares is on the bubble.
Did you see the pajamas he used to wear?
Do you know that Leafs fans are already kind of starting to turn on JT, and it makes me happy?
Oh, yeah,
they like Phantom Menace.
But over at dailyfaceoff.com, our resident former NHL executive, Steve Greeley, put out his Olympic roster projection, and the final cuts for forwards on that team were Sagan, Horvat, and Taylor Hall. He's good better than players. All of them. So maybe he's in the mix.
How many of those guys have written 3 children's books?
Exactly.
How many of those guys can you put out there 4-on-5?
Mm-hmm.
If Chris Kunitz can make the Canadian team based solely off of being the line mate of Sidney Crosby, Zach Hyman.
Yeah, the reason I brought up this question is I agree with Tyler that Canada could probably realistically ice 2 teams at the Olympics. But with GMs and the hockey boys and the old, you never know, right?
You do never know. And again, it's not the most insane thing to talk about, but you talk about penalty killers. Again, looking at this projected team, Bergeron, Marchand, Stone, O'Reilly, Couturier, Stamkos,
and injuries are always going to have between now and then, right?
Then explain to me, because I agree with you here, but how...
Sorry, I was trying to knock on wood.
Oh, of course.
For the injuries comment.
How does Frank
I meant to other people.
How does Frank think that the Americans are going to win the
Because he's American.
I think this Canadian team is... I get the goaltending is going to be an issue right now.
That's it right there.
But they're terrifying.
Here's the thing,
there's not an American team out there
dream teams before.
That American team does not scare me at all. That's when when I'm GMing Canada. That American
but they
team
might not scare you, but you got to remember, it's not like a playoff run, right? It's not 7-game series.
Yeah, it's a one-and-out
If you run
tournament.
into Vasilevsky in the semis and he's doing Vasilevsky shit, you're done.
Or even if you look at the American
never
team,
done Vasilevsky shit against that kind of roster.
Even if you look at the American team, like Connor Hellebuck could realistically do that to you also. Tyler's arm is falling down.
Oh, it's broken
Did not
already.
fasten his arm to the table. I saw that happening. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Yaremchuk is breaking the Ryan Nugent Hopkins studio.
This is why we need video in here.
Oh, unbelievable. He would have been off camera anyway.
This is good radio.
This is
Tyler
great.
is
He's already
adjusting.
broke
Yep.
it. Let's wait till I go explain this to Jay.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. That's getting taken out of your paycheck.
To be fair, I didn't install this.
Right away,
throwing
throwing
it under the
teammates
bus.
under the bus right away, hey?
Who are you throwing it under the bus? Ask the idiot.
Rick, does Zach Hyman have a chance to work his way onto the Team Canada roster?
Yes, he does, but it's a very small chance, and he'll need some help by injuries and maybe a couple of guys saying, "Hey, I don't want to go over there."
That's my answer too. I'm going to say, yeah, sure, he could be close, but probably not in terms of making Canada's roster. Dan, wrap it up.
Yeah, I said if Chris Kunitz can make the team, Zach Hyman can make the team.
Sure.
I just think that there's a realistic
help.
chance that they might need to pair him up with Connor at some point. Yeah.
Well, I wondered, so last night, again, the Oilers split up Connor and Leon for an away game. I wonder how long it's going to take, if possible, for Hyman and McDavid to start working a little magic, you know?
Yep.
Oh, dude, you remember that? It was the preseason, I think. It was the Puljujärvi no-look pass to Connor in the slot to down low Hyman. He just kind of it was no problem. Those guys, the magic's there already. They just they need to get it done. That's all.
We just have to keep dragging this out.
Yeah, I know. You'll get back into this right away. Don't worry.
Well, because I do want to get to hot and cold performance
There
here
you go.
eventually, but Tyler needs to get his buttons ready. And he broke the arm, maybe even breaking the desk, maybe broke his
He's
spirit.
like
I don't know what
rattled
happened.
right now. He's actually.
All right.
This is the most focused I've ever seen him.
Are we getting to Hot and Cold Performers?
Yep, get your buttons
Okay, wait.
ready, buddy.
I played this song now. This is our intro to Hot and Cold Performers now.
Okay.
Deuce vodka.
It is time for the hot and cold performer.
we
My
go.
Bluetooth isn't connected.
gonna drop.
I was trying to play their goal song.
Fluxland by XL.
Again, put some effort. Put some effort into this, people.
Is
Come
that
on.
It is time for the hot and cold performer.
Okay, well, no, I don't know.
We were going to have a song, but Tyler fucked it up.
Watch him knock his mic off the table again.
Yeah. We're just going to keep this dragging. We'll watch Tyler struggle. He's attempted to connect his Bluetooth to the Roadcaster.
Isn't that hard? Isn't it just like a button?
Maybe hold that up to your microphone. There you go. Wow.
No, it's over now.
And he played the sample. He played through the sample. He has to start it over again.
Well, no, because now it says it's connected.
All right,
This
ladies and
is some
gentlemen.
good radio.
Hot and cold performers brought to you by Deuce Vodka. If you head on over to deucevodka.com, you'll see a handsome picture of Brett Kissel right there on the front screen and a button on the right-hand side that says Find in Store. That will tell you where to get Deuce Vodka here in Alberta. If you are in Saskatchewan and you don't live in Alberta, first of all, sort your life out. Secondly, email sales@deucevodka.com. They will tell you how to get it in the province of Saskatchewan. Tyler,
Yep.
are you ready with your buttons?
I am ready with my
Do
buttons.
you need another break of some kind?
No, we're good.
Do you need Dan to sing a little bit?
No, we are definitely good.
I'm starting with Dan, actually. You're a cold performer of the week, sir, for Deuce Vodka.
Well, my cold performer of the week is going to be that singing. No, it's going to be going to go to the NHL referees because, as I tweeted out this morning, it's been a long time since you've called a penalty for Connor McDavid, the best player in the NHL, the best player in the world, has played 270 minutes and 34 seconds of ice time without a call. Get a call out there. You're my cold performer of the week, NHL.
I'm upset.
Were you doing a Don Cherry thing?
I was
there? What
kind of
that?
going Don Cherry there a little bit.
I was catching the shirt Ford guy out of that one.
Oh, yeah, Corio.
Corio.
Shout out to Corio.
Corio.
I need to. We're going to get sales guy Jared to send a message for Sherwood Ford. I miss Corio. What kind of takes he got?
I saw him last weekend, I think. Maybe
Are you going
2
to play it,
weeks ago.
Tyler?
I played a button already.
Yep. You got I'm Upset. You got Drake.
Yep.
Tyler,
Yeah,
you're next up. Deuce Vodka cold performer of the week.
The fact that we are not in Las Vegas for this game tonight.
Yes.
Thank you.
If we were reminiscing in the studio before we started recording about what a fun time we had doing podcasts live in Vegas. Darn this pandemic. I wish we could have been there sitting with a bunch of other Oilers fans and giving high fives outside T-Mobile Arena and losing our gambling allowance on night one. Just so many good memories.
I mean,
Well, that's because you set your gambling allowance at $200, Tyler.
some of us didn't do that.
Yeah, some of us didn't, some of us did, but we will not name names. Regardless, a fun time was had by all, and I'm sad we're not there.
That's a joke. That's an absolute joke is what it is.
Who's got 2 thumbs, spent all his gambling money, his last name's Yaremchuk.
Oh.
Rick, you're next up. Deuce vodka cold from.
I'm with Tyler on that one. It's been a tough week knowing that we were supposed to be in Vegas, but I guess I'll try and get over it. I think there is a light at the end of the tunnel, maybe in April sometime, so we'll see what happens. But I watched the game at home, not last night, the one before that, so I got to watch the whole production by Sportsnet, and this will bug me till the end of time. The game wasn't on. The game starts at 7. At 6:30, you're watching Bundesliga.
Nice.
You get further on into the season, the game starts at 7. At 6:30, there's the top 50 of this, that, or the other thing.
That's the same
and then
one
they play the same one all fucking year.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what it takes. I see Raptor pre-games on TSN. I see, the Canucks get there, the Leafs get theirs on. Why the hell can't we get a fucking pre-game show? Give us a pre-game show, and please just show the fucking face-offs in the game too.
Let's offer this podcast to them for free.
That's true, yeah. We'll send them a copy. I'll
Just
send
play
Gary
it right before
Bettman.
every game.
I was going to say, you guys have an opportunity here to get on that if people aren't... I don't want to watch the fucking Bundesliga.
Oh, yeah, we should. Well, you could tune in at 1 o'clock on game days for the Giant pregame
I think
show.
you got to push it they come... Tune in at like 6:30.
But you can go back and rewatch it at any point on our YouTube or on our Twitter.
I think you just do it live.
on?
There's your button.
Let's get him in here doing it live.
So what was your cold performer there? Tyler?
Sportsnet. But I'm Rick.
Well,
What the hell is going on?
man, this is a train wreck going on here.
He's playing on his phone.
I'm trying to get the fucking Flunk Slam song. It won't work.
Turn on your Bluetooth.
My cold performer of the week is David Quadrelli from Canucks Army. If you were following me on Twitter, JSBM Bagmilk, he tweeted a beef and ched at me yesterday.
No, he didn't.
And he says, "Hey, I'm having a beef and ched." And I said, "You should be arrested."
The FBI's listening. They need to go knock on this guy's door.
David Quadrelli, that is not a beef and ched.
That was so fucking
You
funny.
get that trash out of my phone.
I like how he's like, I had leftover roast beef and leftover cheese.
How do you have leftover cheese? Isn't that one of those things you just always have
I mean, if
in the
you
house?
have it in the fridge, you always got leftover cheese, really.
All cheese
But
is leftover cheese, I guess.
Yeah, unless you meant to eat the whole damn block at once.
In which case, then we're having a different conversation.
I can imagine Quadrelli going to the grocery store.
He's like,
and just getting the precise amount of cheese
Yeah.
for whatever. He's like, I'm only having one sandwich this week. And
I'll
like,
take 2 slices of that, please.
Or Quads is just sitting there with 750 grams of old cheddar just mowing away on his couch while he's watching the Canucks.
He only purchased it by the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. He's getting a 10-pound wheel of cheese.
Leftover cheese for years.
So Quads, next time I see you, buddy, I'm going to take you to Arby's. That's just it. That's it.
And it's an onion bun, not bread.
Yeah, I just fucking brown bread, lightly toasted.
Good Lord.
Get out of here, Quads. You're very nice, and I like you a lot, but that was not a beef and ched. All right. Flipping the ledger. Dan, let's finish off with a positive.
well,
Outside of Tyler's lack of technical skills,
he keeps
Dan,
trying to
you're
play the goal
hot
song.
performer of the week for Deuce.
Well, I'm going to take Rick's negative and turn it into a positive. And for me, it's the return of Gene Principe at the start of the broadcast. I missed the cold openings. And not only did he come back, he also burned the place down with a piece of cake on fire. And imagine for the Coyote fans who don't probably get to see a ton of that kind
I
of
was going to say they're
prop work.
90% Oiler fans. They know exactly what's going on.
that's
Like,
true.
hey, look, Gene's down there. Look, something's on fire.
It was amazing to see the fire kind of burst out there, and he didn't skip a beat. So, Gene Principe, you get my hot performer of the week.
Pour it on!
I'm trying to find a tweet that went out last night. So there was a Coyotes fan actually at the game last night that took a picture of Gene in the corner with that cupcake on fire and just said, "Somebody explain what is going on over there."
I didn't
love
see
it.
that.
If you don't know what Gene is, like if you're a Coyotes fan and you drove the 6 hours out to Glendale from Phoenix proper and you're going to sit at the game, maybe you have a pop in your hand and you look
Lights
over and
just
there's a
go
guy
down.
in like a fucking turtle costume or like a hot dog or something. You're like, what is going on with that guy over there?
Lights go down, you're watching the pregame, and then all of a sudden there's this, out of the corner of their eye, there's this TV light bulb shining on this man with a glorious flowing locks and a piece of cake on fire.
Love Gene. Tyler, your Deuce Vodka hot performer of the week.
my hot performer of the week.
What was that?
High former. High former.
Whoa.
Tyler wants a parfait.
My hot performer of the week.
It goes to two people. The first is Dangerous Wade, who brought me a delicious bottle of my favorite Fancy Boy Amaretto. It's delicious. I had some last
You
night.
drink that with little OJ?
Nope, just straight dog.
Oh, good for you.
Yep. It's delicious. And the second hot performer is Nico Jolly, who made me this beautiful custom Avoid the Grind hoodie and presented to me down at Dog Potch yesterday. It is beautiful, Nico, and I love it very much. And my entire family was excited when I put it in the group chat because they think the Avoid the Grind thing's funny as well. Shout out to Nico Jolly. Shout out to Dangerous Wade. They are beautiful souls, and I love them very much.
The big guy is smoking hot.
Bonus cold performer of the week to Nico Jolly and Dangerous Wade for not bringing me anything. Rick, your Deuce Vodka hot performer of the week. What is going on with you,
what was
man?
that? I'm confused.
Now we're doing ads for Priceline.com.
I'm just trying to play the fucking goal song, man.
You know what? After a 4-0 start, it has to just go to the team.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is the best start they've had in ever off the hop, I think.
Something like that.
I think there was one other time and they won a cup that year.
Yeah, so this is incredible. But if we're giving out secondaries, I'm giving out a secondary here as well to Bix.
Ryan Bikes.
Bix.
Oh no, it is Bikes.
It's Bikes,
It is
but
Bikes.
no one. Yeah, but everyone
Everybody calls him
refuses.
Bix.
Yeah. Anyways, his Photoshop with Zach Cassian and Jean's hair.
Yep.
That might be the picture of the year. That was a fantastic photo.
Hey Tyler, look who got it faster than you.
But you didn't work it through Bluetooth.
This is how we do it, baby.
He's a hot guy.
All right. My Deuce Vodka hot performer of the week is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I'm staying on brand. That's what I do. We're in the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins studio. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins got my hot performer of the week. He has got 5 assists in his last 2 games.
I don't know if
You got a remix here?
I don't know if the people can even hear that. They
It's in
can.
my
Yep.
ears.
No,
Ryan
this says it's the
Nugent-Hopkins
original.
gets my
the original in
last
93.
Deuce Vodka hot performer of the week. 5 points in his last 2 games. I got to shut this down before Tyler
Can we
just
give
gets falls
Tyler
off the
a
rails.
retroactive
Tyler.
cold performer? This
He
is
said he
amazing.
needs a nap. I think he was right.
He's having like a temper tantrum now that he's not getting it though.
He just, it's unbelievable.
It's from the phone not working, the Bluetooth, and his arm falling off the table.
Yep.
It's been a rough one for him here.
You have had a hard time. You okay?
He's just watching ads to watch ads now.
He's got a rough coursey for today.
Yeah, he's just really looking forward to his.
It's not my best show, hey? Like,
I don't know why you don't have your amaretto in here having a sip of it.
Of 163, I would say this is in the top 162 for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Gotta think about that.
I don't even know what that means. Here's your button, babe.
The big guy is smoking hot.
You use that one for Rick.
All right, let's
I
wrap.
use this one for it.
He's a hot guy.
I think you use the big guy smoking hot for yourself, to be honest.
I'm upset.
I am upset. I agree. All right, real quick before we wrap this up, around the horn, goal predictions.
Nuge.
Okay. Actually, I meant score predictions, but I said goal predictions. So, Tyler, I'll start with you because you're excited. Score prediction tonight against Vegas.
4-3.
4.
Oilers.
Thank you. Dan?
Oh, I got to stay on brand. What I said in the prediction
do we have
before
to
the game.
do we have to stick with?
Yeah, you got to stick with what you said.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
4-3 overtime for Vegas.
Well, I should note that Dan also is wearing a Las Vegas hat. It is not
Vegas
a Golden
Raiders.
Knights hat. But he
Raiders.
is wearing a Las Vegas hat. Rick?
Just win, baby.
I'm going 5-2, but I'm going. I didn't get to say this on Waz's phone, but I think Leon's putting up a hattie tonight.
I'm calling 2 drawn penalties for McDavid tonight.
A Leon Hattie would be nice. I'd like to see that. I'm going to say 4-2. And if you read the GDB today, you would know that I said 4-2 there, and I said it in every GDB because that's my joke. It's amazing how many people don't pick it up, Tyler. Every game I write it, 4-2 is the score, no matter what. Tyler, you okay over there? You got an ad to
No,
get
I'm
through?
clearly not okay. Everything's a shit show right now.
What did we miss this episode, Tyler? What didn't we cover?
I thought this was a good episode.
It was.
I think now that we're back, it goes a couple of ways. Now that we're back in studio, it's more enjoyable for us. It sounds better, but our nonsense, I'm not sure how well the nonsense is like.
The nonsense
Let us
per
know.
60s through
Let
the
us
wind,
know with a
through the
review.
roof right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the nonsense per 60s through the roof. I don't know if the listeners like that, if they can tell what's going on in
they-
just podcast or what, but
Do they
I don't
think
know.
that we've turned into real life?
like we keep it on the rails for the most part.
Yeah,
Well,
most-
if they don't like it, they'll let us know.
yeah, hit us up. ON Radio Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. I just want to know, do you like the
Don't we have that voicemail thing too? Could they yell at us?
I mean, we do have the voicemail, but like,
I like
it could
taking-
be full. We haven't checked it in years.
Oh,
it
I like
seems
taking it over for. Is it like a nation real life thing? And I like
Yeah.
send
Should
up
we
all
just turn
ours
that
in
into
there.
an ONR?
Yeah, what is it?
Voicemail? Because it'd probably make more sense.
Don't tell them.
Yeah. We just won't tell them on the other podcast.
Some people leave voicemails for ONR on there.
So
I
we'll
just
just-
always forget.
We'll just steal those from here. All right. So next week, let's make
I
a
can
plan.
send out the link. Yeah.
Let's make a plan. Next week we will check the voicemail. So if you want to leave us a voicemail, the link is in the Twitter bio, I think.
Probably.
It might be. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back somewhere and find out. I don't know where it is. We'll figure it out. All right. Let's shut this down. This is a train wreck. This is a mess. This is a disaster. But this is episode 163 of Oilers Nation Radio, and I want to say thank you to DoorDash, Oodle Noodle, Cornerstone Insurance, Deuce Vodka, and Buster's Pizza for making it all possible, and more importantly, you that I am speaking into your ear holes right now. Tyler, what are your face making right now? What are you doing?
My lips are super chapped.
You wanna,
So I was stretching them out.
I just put some chapstick on you, I guess.
It's been episode 163, brought to you by Oodle Noodle.
Oilers Nation Radio, episode 163 is in the books. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Shout out Vicky Perlini.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Real Life Podcast. Don't want to miss any of our nonsense? Hit the subscribe button and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram.